Hello, thanks for clicking. I do appreciate everybody who clicks and watches my videos. So I wanted to get that out there right away. Even if you don't watch any more of this video, please know that I do appreciate every subscriber, every person who comes by and watches this. It is humbling to me that I do have any subscribers at all, and that I've reached a number of 500 in such a relatively short time is very humbling is the word, and I'm so grateful. There's a lot of things I want to cover in this episode. And usually I try to I'm trying to get better at making my videos a little more concise, shorter. This one may be a little longer because there's a lot of stuff to cover, and there's a lot of stuff that I just want to get out in this video. First thing I want to say is Happy Mother's Day. At the recording of this, it's May 12th, 2024. I almost said 1924. It's May 12th, 2024. Mother's Day here in the United States. I did want to a shout out to all the mothers out there. And as I've joined YouTube, I found out there's a lot of mothers out there. But a shout out to all the moms out there, and particularly my mother, who passed away in 2012. I had the privilege of being with her on her deathbed, and she meant the world to me. This channel probably would be different if she were still alive. I would not have told the stories that I've told on this channel if my mom was watching. But I tell you what, my mom would have watched every single episode if she was interested or not. And on every single video, she would have left some embarrassing comment like, "Oh, you're looking so handsome today, Mark." Or, "Oh, you sound so smart, Mark. You've always been a smart child." Just love me unconditionally like mothers should. And I am grateful that I had her in my life. The other thing I want to talk about, All the World's a Stage. This is the official coffee mug of the Mark Morse channel right now. First VCLT that I've ever received. Look at this mug. Anyway, thanks again, Steve, for that. The other thing I want to talk about before I get into the Beatle books that I've promised in the thumbnail is I want to talk about, and I've touched on it a little bit, on the 500 subscribers I've received in a relatively short time. So I want to thank you all again. I'm just overwhelmed that this channel has received so much support, especially for what it is. I started this channel officially on January 1st of this year. So I'm at 500 subscribers. I've actually a little higher now. I think at this recording it's 515. I wanted to give myself a little leeway. I didn't want to prematurely do 500 and then like 8 people decide they weren't interested. So I wanted to get up there a little bit before I did this. But if you check my about thing, it shows that I've been on YouTube since 2011. However, I only had a YouTube account just so I could watch and comment on things. I wasn't somebody who provided any content for years. There was a year where I got a GoPro, and I made a bunch of little test videos. I don't think any of those are. I think I've either unlisted them or made them private or deleted them completely. So you probably won't see those. But towards the end of 2023 in December, I started getting the idea, I'd kind of like to have an official channel. And I was kind of playing with the idea of what it would be. Well, I'd been listening to a lot of Beatles. I'd been going through a lengthy depression, I guess, and I associated my coming out of it with this saturating myself with Beatles music and just getting back into record collecting and just finding joy in my life again. So I decided, I'm going to do a Beatles thing. But so I started as Rediscovering the Beatles, and I still have a playlist. I call it Rediscovering the Beatles. Anytime I have Beatles content like this video right here, it will go under that playlist because I do love the Beatles, and I want everybody who comes here for Beatles content to be able to find it quickly. As time went on, though, I realized that Beatle content, our Beatle channels, there's a million of these things, and I'm not exaggerating when I say a million. There's millions of these things. And what I found was people have been doing this for so long, and there's so many people that know more, have better collections, have much more knowledge, that I'm like, maybe this isn't for me. I'm just another voice in this giant ocean. And I decided to expand a little bit, rebranded to just my name, Mark Morse, just so I can talk about other records. Well, I kind of found myself in the same situation. The vinyl community, as it's known in YouTube, is vast, and it's been around for years, and there's people that know so much about so many things. I really feel that I am a pretty small voice in this community, especially just starting. There's people been on here for years in the vinyl community talking about records, collecting records, and I am mostly playing catch up now. I'm buying records that most people have talked about and have discarded years ago. And so the records I talk about are kind of surface stuff, classic records like, Beatles, some common David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust, a lot of stuff that people have gone over and over and over again. I'm just now bringing up because I'm rebuying these records. So I felt for a while that, maybe my voice isn't needed in this community or in this context. But as I've got more support from people, I've decided I'm going to keep with this. I'm sure there's other people out there who are in my spot, just starting to collect records or recollect the records they sold or gave away earlier. And I've decided, I have enough people that watch this that I think it's worthwhile. And I like talking about records, and it's something I'm passionate about. So I'm decided I'm going to keep with this, and I owe that to so many of you. You're the subscribers that have been here from the beginning, and really it's the first 5 months, so you're all in the beginning. And people that have come in recently, I've gotten so much support from so many great people out there. Rachel's Ghost really spoiled me because as soon as I became a channel, Rachel's Ghost started a Beatles vinyl stream. And I'm like, well, I'll do this, or a vinyl thread. I'll do this. And I had no idea who Rachel's Ghost was. I didn't realize she's a fairly big personality in the VC community. And so that got her attention. She had me on her show, or she would talk about me on her show. Just very kind, and I had like 300 subscribers fairly quickly, and it was my impression that was just normal. People got subscribers like that pretty quickly. Later, I found out that's unusual to get so many subscribers so fast. Somebody told me, I think it was PB Thal, another vinyl community person, the average person gets their first 1,000 subscribers within 3 years. And so I'm thinking, I'm halfway there after 5 months. So I feel really good about this. And so I wanted to mention people like Rachel's Ghost, Beatle Dave. Every time Beatle Dave mentioned my name, it'd go up like 5, 10 dozen subscribers. So thank you. Another person that took me in very early on was Steve from All the World's a Stage, very early on. Gave me some credibility, and Steve knows so much more than me, and so has such an enormous collection, so much knowledge. Um, I'm a little embarrassed to even say that I'm in the same community as Steve. He just has so much knowledge and such a great collection, and just his presentations are so dry and yet funny. This guy, just great stuff. Then other people, my friend Kyle from Pleasure Den of the Obscene. Sorry, Kyle. Pleasure's Den of the Absurd, not obscene. Not a great big channel, but just constant support. And I just appreciate people that come by and watch the videos, say hi. And then, of course, people who don't have channels that come in and like this. This is long-winded, but I did want to get this all said. I do appreciate you all very much, and I understand what a great privilege it is to have this many subscribers this early on. Beer and Vinyl, Alex, another great supporter who's also just recently gone over 500. He's on the fast track. He's gonna be in the thousands very quickly. But these are all people that I would recommend you seek out. I hope I'm not. I'm sure I'm forgetting people who have given me a leg up. Vinyl Martini, Jack, very early on, gave me a shout out and gave me some legitimacy. Just lots of great people out there. What I wanted to do is, now that I've hit 500, what I wanted to do at the first part of this, before I go into the books, I wanted to mention five channels, VC channels that I would like you to check out. And if you find they're of your interest, subscribe to. These are people, I just wanted to shout out to people that were below 500. Some of them are not far below 500, some are, but these are channels I enjoy watching, and I watch as many as I can. These are 5 people that I watch consistently that are below 500 views, and I love these channels, and I just wanted to shout them out. The first one, Morten Aastad. He's my Danish Norwegian friend. Lots of great vinyl videos, a lot of cool unboxing videos. Not only is he a great person in regards to vinyl, he also is a cartoonist, a craft beer enthusiast. And today, May 12th, is his birthday. So it would be great if you can go over, look at his channel, and sub to him. Just a great guy, just fun to listen to. I just love to listen to him. Has a very calming voice. There's just something about Morten I like to listen to. The second one is a guy after my own heart. He describes his channel as another bald guy collecting records, and that's Vinyl Shawn. Just a great collection, lots of knowledge about stuff that I'm not super aware of sometimes. It's just, I love listening to him, has a great collection. Check him out. I think it was Vinyl Martini that turned me on to his channel, and I have not regretted subbing to it. The other one is Anthony from Gambler 8112, and I'm pronouncing it Gambler. It's GMBLR 812. All these links will be down below, of course, so please check them out. Anthony is just a great guy, a very eclectic taste. He goes where the music takes him. He whatever moves him, he is going to talk about. One thing about Anthony, I was watching a video recently about Sam St. John, I believe. Anthony may have some connections, so you might want to be careful around Anthony. When I say connections, I mean like connections like Frank Sinatra had, if you know what I mean. You know, he comes from a big family. So Gambler 812, and then these last two. These are younger YouTubers who have VC channels, and sometimes I think these younger people are overlooked. The VC seems to be a lot of older men, so I'm always happy when I see younger people interested in vinyl and record collecting. My daughter, she's going to be 22 years old. She's interested in vinyl and stuff, and I enjoy talking to her. So when I see these channels, I like to check them out. The first one is DT's Finds. I don't know how old DT is, but I'm going to guess late teens, maybe early 20s at the most. But this is a guy I would have definitely hung out with when I was that age. I just like the records. He is really knows his classic rock, has a great collection. He's showing records that I drool over because I've never had them and I've always wished I had them. Just great record collection. I love he usually broadcasts from, it looks like his room. It looks like a room that I or any of my friends would have had with Rolling Stones stuff up and some models. Just fun to watch. DT's Finds, link below. And then finally, a guy from Brazil. His name, he goes by another Beatles fan. He's a Brazilian young man, obviously interested in Beatles, solo Beatles. It's very interesting to watch. He's very articulate, very savvy about the Beatles, really good, does great reviews. He's interesting because sometimes when he shows records, he has, the Brazilian copies are different than what I'm used to. I'm always interested in different editions and stuff. Just a fun young man to watch, another's Beatle fan. So that's what I'd want. If you could today, if you're interested in vinyl and stuff, check those guys out. And if you're interested, give them a sub. It would mean so much to me, and especially being Morten Aastad's birthday today. Man, that would be a great gift to get his subs up. He's near the thumbnail. Some of these books I've had for years and years. Some I've acquired since I started this YouTube channel out of curiosity and maybe potential resources. The first one I want to talk about, of course, is a couple books by one of the Beatles themselves, John Lennon, A Spaniard in His Own Right. A Spaniard in His Own Right. I've combined two books there. A Spaniard in the Works and In His Own Right. In His Own Right being the first book, A Spaniard in the Works being the second book. I could have swore I had both these books as individual books somewhere in my collection, but I cannot find them anywhere. So I'm referencing this edition that combines both books. Most hardcore Beatle fans have looked at this. Lots of fun writings, lots of fun drawings. It just, to me, demonstrates what a clever person John Lennon was from the onset. Just always clever, always thinking, always having fun with words. An interesting thing about A Spaniard in the Works, and I learned this from Rachel's Ghost recently, and it shocks me that I'm 62 years old and have just learned this. But A Spaniard in the Works, I just thought it was a quirky title that John Lennon came up, maybe meant something to him, but there is an English phrase called a spanner in the works, and a spanner is a wrench. So it's like a wrench in the works, kind of like a fly in the ointment kind of stuff. So it's a play on words, a Spaniard in the work instead of a spanner in the works, which was a big epiphany for me. So even at 62, as a so-called Beatles fan, I'm learning stuff all the time. The other books are more books about the Beatles, discographies and that kind of thing. On the thumbnail, this is the book I highlighted. just because I thought it was colorful and would make a good thumbnail. But it is, as you can tell, I've had this for a while. I think it came out in 75 or 76. It's altogether now the only complete Beatles discography, 1961 through 1975. And it's a good book for very basic knowledge on their recordings. Now, this is not a book you would read from cover to cover. This is a resource. This is if you're not really into the minutiae of the Beatles recordings, dates, and I think it even has the Apple recordings from other artists like Billy Preston, that kind of stuff too. Yes. And so this is a great resource for some basic knowledge. Not really an essential book if you're just a casual Beatles fan. A book that I bought recently, and it came out, I believe, in 1980, 1981, is this book. It's called The Beatles England. And what it is, it's the reason I got interested in it, there's a person in the VC community that most VC members would know, but people outside of the community would maybe not familiar with, but his name is Norman Maslov. A very outspoken person, has lots of knowledge of not only Beatles, but especially the music scene around San Francisco through the 60s, 70s, 80s, that kind of stuff. Big Beatles fan, just knows everything about everything. I found out that he had authored this book in the early 1980s, so I was curious about it. And what it is, it's really a great thing if you're ever going to England, just places to visit that are Beatle related. It's packed full of photos. Norman Maslov is known as Mazzy in the community. He also a great photographer, has a lot of experience with photographers. Anyway, just lots of pictures and stories of the Beatles England. That's just as the title of the book. Some of the criticism I've seen on it is it's no longer in date. Some of these places don't exist anymore. To me, that doesn't bother me because it is still such a great historical reference. If I were ever to go to England or Liverpool, I would definitely take this with me. It is a good book, and I really did enjoy it. This isn't really a book, but something I picked up off eBay recently. It's 1970 Rolling Stone with John Lennon and Yoko on the cover, as you can clearly see. It's just something I thought was cool that I would throw in here. It's the interview, John Lennon Part 2, Life with the Lions. I haven't read it. This thing is so, those Rolling Stones back in the day, just very fragile. This has already got some pretty serious wear on it. Someday when my dog's not around and I just have a lot of time to myself, I will probably leaf through it very gently one time just to look through it. But now I'm just happy to have it. I got it for like $8 on eBay. And the main reason for this video is I realized I talked about these Bill Spizer books a while ago, and I said I would update you as I read them. And so I'm going to show these briefly because I have shown them in the past. Not that you're watching every video and you'd have seen all these. But Matthew Street got me interested in the Bill Spizer books. And these things are incredible. These I really would recommend to Beatles fans, casual or hardcore. These are just great stories, great information, loaded with photographs and information. And it really looks at the Beatles releases, They really look at the Beatle releases, all aspects, what was going on at the time, not only in the United States, but other countries, and he highlights several albums. I will definitely be getting more, but these Bill Spizer books are absolutely recommended. I would recommend just picking your favorite album and just seeing what he has on it and getting that one to start with. These are just great books. And then these final two are both Mark Lewison publications. The Complete Beatles Chronicle. And this again is more for the hardcore Beatles fans and collectors. This has a ton of information in it. It describes on stage, in the studio, on radio, TV, film, and video, all the information. And this is a little more information. I mean, it's a little more interesting just than they did this on this day. There's some stories in here. This is very, of course, Mark Lewison is very well known in the Beatle world as an authority. This covers everything. It also, as every good Beatle book should, is loaded with pictures, stuff like that. And then finally, I'm going to show you this Beatles recording sessions. This is a similar book by the same author, but focusing just on the recording sessions. And again, Mark Lewison obviously has an immense knowledge. Sorry, I was blocking the microphone. An immense knowledge. It's fun. It's fun. You can just buy. It's divided up by year, so what I like to do is every now and again I'll go through and say, I wonder what the Beatles were doing on my birthday in 1969, and it goes through the what was being recorded, any problems or issues they were having, what they were working on. Very thorough, very thorough. Again, probably not so much for a casual Beatles fan, but absolutely something to pick up if you're interested in that stuff. It's a great reference. It's a great reference for my channel, though I haven't used it to its full potential yet. But anyway, thanks for listening. I'll put chapters on this thing so you can skip through what you want to watch. Thank you so much for my subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, consider it. I don't like to be pushy about it or obnoxious about it, but consider it. What I tell people, I've learned this from Rachel's, goes to hit the subscription, but don't hit that notification bell, because you'll just be annoyed every time that pops up, and you'll get annoyed by me. I don't want you to be annoyed, and I don't expect anybody to watch every video or even every video all the way through. But if something of interest comes up, I would appreciate you watching it and maybe giving it a like. That's all I have to say. Happy Mother's Day. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you again soon.